everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right folks, so if you're aware of my channel, you have to know how much I love this time of year. I really do get to shine during the month of October. And this is a video I've been wanting to put together for a while now, and I think the reason to why I'm doing it now is it's almost like a celebration for the upcoming release of Trick or Treat that we are getting from Arrow Video, first time on 4K. Probably my favourite horror anthology movie of all time. And it's hands down my most anticipated release of this year. And I said, screw it, let's do the video now. So I'm going to be sharing some of my favourite picks of Halloween themed movies that you can own on 4K. I think it's a fun video. Hopefully it'll be a fun video. So I'm going to jump right into it. Let's get this going. I'm going to start with the release of Hocus Pocus. Now, I'm not going to say that this is one of my real go-to Halloween movies to watch, but the reason to why I felt it was necessary to include it in this video is the fact that there's no denying that this movie captures the essence of Halloween almost perfectly. It really, really does. And it is a fun, enjoyable watch. And I have to tell you, folks, if you are a fan of this and you haven't picked it up on 4K yet, I highly recommend doing so. It literally breathes new life into this movie. It looks absolutely stunning. It does come with a DTS 5.1 audio, and it's a quite active mix as well. I think you are going to be, I won't say pleasantly surprised, I think you'll be ecstatic when you see the effort that has gone behind this release in terms of picture and audio. I think it would have lent well to a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, but take nothing away from the DTS 5.1. Like I said, it is quite immersive, and it will hook you. It really, really will. So yes, Hocus Pocus, like I said, not my favourite Halloween-themed movie of all time, but like I said, it does capture the essence quite well, and some fantastic performances from the likes of Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker, which I find she's absolutely adorable in it. So yes, that's my first pick, Hocus Pocus. Right, so up next, this one might be a little bit of a cheat. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section. It is Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse. And the reason to why I'm saying that this one might be a little bit of a cheat is because I'm not quite sure if it's actually held on Halloween. But there is no denying that you get Halloween vibes from this movie. Now, if you're not particularly aware of it, it's quite simple. It's about four friends. They go to this carnival. There's a funhouse in the carnival. They go into it. For some strange reason, they decide to spend the night in this funhouse. But by doing so, they witness the murder of a woman. And naturally, the killer, the person that killed the woman, finds out that the four are in this funhouse, and he's hunting them down one by one. It's a fantastic slasher movie, a very underrated Tobe Hooper movie, and I highly recommend checking it out. I can't think of a better time of year than the month of October to check this one out. Now, I have to tell you, Scream Factory have done an absolutely wonderful job on this 4K restoration. Bear in mind, folks, this movie is very, very dark. As a matter of fact, I think there's only one daylight scene, and it's right at the end of it. So naturally, you want those deep blacks, and I can tell you now, you get an abundance with this 4K transfer. It looks stunning. It really, really does. My only one gripe that I have with this release is, as far as I remember, it has only a DTS HD mono track on it. And it's a shame, because if they gave it an Atmos soundtrack, this movie lends very well to it. You know, you got that carnival atmosphere. And I think they could have done something with the Atmos on that. But having said that, the mono that you get in this one sounds perfectly fine. It really, really does. It's just you're lacking that immersiveness, which is a bit of a shame. But take nothing away from it. It is still a fantastic release, and I highly recommend checking it out. So yes, folks, The Funhouse. Right, so on to the next, and I have to tell you, I was very late to the game when it comes to this movie, but look, better late than never. I think I only watched it for the first time 3 years ago. It is Night of the Demons, and what a movie it is. Now, this one is highly Halloween themed. It's about this group of friends. They're going to a Halloween party in this house. I think it's called Hull House. It's an old funeral home. And of course, there's this ancient demon inside this house. They happen to wake it up, and one by one, he's hunting everyone down. It's a fun, cheesy horror movie. And like I said, if you love your Halloween themed movies, I can't think of a better one to check out. There is some questionable acting, no question about it, but I don't think it will ruin your enjoyment of the actual movie itself. Now, Scream Factory once again have delivered on another exceptional transfer with this movie. I'm not kidding. literally breathes new life into it. It's a night and day difference over the previous Blu-ray. Just like Funhouse, it's a very, very dark movie. And you want those deep blacks. Like I said, you get it in abundance. Not only that, but when you see some of the colours that the Dolby Vision brings to this, just an incredible bit of vibrancy that you've never seen with this movie. I think it's going to knock the socks off you. And if you're a big fan of this, I highly recommend picking this 4K release up. It does come with a DTS 5.1 audio, and it's a very, very active mix. Those surround speakers are always going, mainly to do with the house. You can hear every little bit of creak. It's almost like the house is breathing. And it just adds a certain element of atmosphere to this movie. Like I said, I can't recommend this 4K disc enough. And if you're a fan, like I said, definitely worth picking up. So yes, Night of the Demons. Right, so up next is a more modern movie, which is always great to see. It is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, this is produced by Guillermo del Toro, and when I heard about this coming out, that it was going to have a Halloween theme to it, I thought it was fantastic, because it just came out at a time where Halloween-themed movies were kind of diminishing, and it was a welcome release, and it's a wonderful movie. It really, really is. It's about this group of friends that go into this haunted mansion on Halloween night. Sounds very familiar, but bear with me. They go into this house, they find a diary, they bring the diary out, the diary is cursed, and what happens is the diary starts telling stories, it starts writing itself, but unfortunately it's writing stories of the demise of each character that went into the house and took the diary out. It's a wonderful movie, no question about it. It drips atmosphere. Some of the creature effects look absolutely astonishing. There is one scene with a spider as well. And wow, when I seen it for the first time, it really is one of my worst kind of nightmares. Like I said, highly entertaining, definitely recommend it. The 4K release looks absolutely astonishing, it really does. It looks exactly how a modern movie is meant to look. You're going to have absolutely no issues whatsoever. The colours look beautifully vibrant. The blacks are beautifully deep. Lovely, incredible shadow detail as well. Just so much fine detail to marvel across the board on this one. It's almost the perfect 4K release. The only thing that's stopping it from being perfect is you get a true Dolby 5.1 audio. Now, don't get me wrong. The true Dolby 5.1 sounds absolutely incredible. It's very active. But again, Dolby Atmos would have added so much more to this. It would have added so much more atmosphere to it. It was a missed opportunity. But, like I said, the true 5.1 gets the job done. It's a great active mix. I think you'll be massively impressed by it. And if you have this movie already on Blu-ray, I highly recommend checking out this 4K transfer. It might only be a subtle difference, but you know what? Sometimes subtle is okay. So yes, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. What a Halloween treat. Right, so there's no way you can put a list like this together and not include this movie during the month of October. And of course it is Creepshow. Now, if you're not particularly aware of this movie, which I can't imagine there's too many of you out there, but it is directed by George Romero based on a screenplay by Stephen King. It's a horror anthology movie consisting of 5 stories. The first one is Father's Day. Then you've got The Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill, Something to Tide You Over, The Crate, and They're Creeping Up on You. And I can tell you now, they're creeping up on you. If you're not big into your insects, stay the hell away from that story. It's horrible to look at. But hands down, my favourite of the 5 is Something to Tide You Over. I think the story is unbelievably unique. Not only that, but I lost countless nights' sleep over that story, particularly when you see the ending of it. I'll say nothing more about it because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. It's a phenomenal horror anthology movie, and like I said, no better time to watch it during the month of October. Even if you can watch it on Halloween night, it really adds something to it. And speaking of adding something to it, Scream Factory again delivering on, hands down, probably what is their greatest 4K transfer. I have never seen anything like it. It is incredibly sharp. I am not kidding. Absolutely no issues with DNR, do not worry. It just looks so unbelievably sharp. The grain structure is so amazingly fine. But I think in terms of its Dolby Vision, The one story that really gets to flex the Dolby Vision muscles is the lonesome death of Geordie Verrill, particularly when you see a lot of that greenery. It looks absolutely incredible. But not only that, but the movie lends very well to Dolby Vision, particularly when you see those scenes where it looks like it's almost like it turns into a comic book. Some of the colours that you're going to see is absolutely extraordinary. It really, really is. Not only that, but it comes with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and I can tell you now, it transforms this movie. It really, really does. I was really surprised by the amount of higher channel activity that you hear during each story. And if you have the capabilities to set up for Dolby Atmos, I think you're going to be massively impressed with what you hear on this release. So it goes without saying, folks, if you're a fan, I highly recommend checking this Scream Factory release out. Why the likes of Arrow Video haven't gotten this yet, I honestly don't know. Maybe someday they will, but as of right now, I can't see any company outdoing what Scream Factory have done with this release. So yes, Creepshow. Right, so up next is a movie that I'm always going to defend, and the reason why is because I think it's a wonderful modern day slasher movie. And I've turned so many people's heads towards this movie, and every single one of them really seem to enjoy it, which is always great to hear. The movie is called Hellfest. Now, the premise to this one is very simple. It's about 5 or 6 friends. They're going to this kind of horror theme park called Hellfest. When they get there, this fella shows up and he starts slowly stalking them. And then, of course, one by one, he starts hunting them all down. Now, I got genuine Halloween vibes from this. You know, when you look at Michael Myers, he's slowly stalking his prey. And then as the movie goes on and goes on, he's getting closer and closer. And that's exactly what you get with Hellfest. But then when it kicks off, you really do get your good old traditional slasher movie. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. And not only that, but the big star of this one is the theme park itself, Hellfest. It just adds so much atmosphere. It just lends so well to a horror movie. And it goes without saying, folks, if you have not checked out Hellfest, I really do recommend checking it out. And if you do, and you like it, get this 4K release, because this might be, it would definitely be up there as one of the best looking 4K transfers for a horror movie. You're getting everything when it comes to this movie. Hands down, the most colourful horror movie you're ever likely to see. And the Dolby Vision shines through. It really, really does. Of course, you get those deep blacks naturally, so it is astronomically sharp. You will not believe how sharp it looks. It's a stunning 4K transfer. It is the perfect 4K transfer. And then to top it all off, you get a DTS:X audio with this one as well. And hands down, the most active audio I've ever heard on a horror movie. Your rear channels, right from the get-go, never go off. There's always sound coming from them. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Tony Todd is in this movie for around maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes tops. But it's when you actually hear the DTS:X, you only realise how much he actually is in it. You can hear his voice so much. And it's always coming from behind you. And if it's not coming from behind you, it's coming from above you. Like I said, it's a flawless 4K disc. Perfect picture, perfect audio, and such a wonderful horror movie to check out during the month of October. So there you have it, Hellfest. Right, so up next is a movie that I think perfectly captures the essence of Halloween. And it is probably one of my favourite horror movies of all time. And of course, it is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So, as you know, I don't have to tell you, Michael Myers is not in this movie. People seem to resent the movie because Michael Myers is not featured in it. I've said it in so many videos. I think the biggest mistake that this movie made was calling itself Halloween 3. Maybe if they just stuck with Season of the Witch, maybe it would have found an audience back then. And it's a bit of a shame because what they had planned for this movie, I thought would have been genius, giving us a different Halloween tale every October. And it's a shame that it never worked out. And I was always hoping that someday they would maybe revisit that idea. Because I can imagine with modern audiences today, I think something like that could do very, very well. But look, I don't have to talk about the movie. You know it yourselves. It's an absolute Halloween treat. Tom Atkins is the absolute man in this movie. He is absolutely fantastic. But it has everything. It has that small town horror vibe. Drips so much atmosphere as well. I love the cast as well. A great villain. top-notch villain as well. It's the perfect Halloween movie. It really, really is. And Scream Factory once again delivering on another stellar looking 4K transfer. Now, I was skeptical when this one got announced on 4K, and the only reason why I was skeptical is because the Blu-ray looked so goddamn good. I just felt that there was no room for improvement. How wrong I got it, and it's mainly to do, once again, with the Dolby Vision colours. Just breathes new life into it. I'm not going to say it's a night and day difference over the Blu-ray. Not a chance, is it? I think you're set either way. I think if you have the Blu-ray, it looks amazing. If you have the 4K, you're going to appreciate the subtle changes there, mainly to do with its Dolby Vision. But the one thing that will knock the socks off you is the Dolby Atmos that you get on this one. It sounds absolutely remarkable. To hear that score right at the start, oh my god, there's just this rumble of bass behind the score, and it really does shake the room out of it. It's a real active mix, there's no question about it. And to see this movie get that kind of treatment, whether it's the audio, the picture, or even the special features on this release, it is quite incredible. And not only that, but there's a Horrors Hallowed Ground episode in this as well from Sean Clark, where he revisits the locations of this movie, and you need to check it out. Not a thing has changed, particularly in the town itself. It is quite extraordinary. So yes, Halloween Season of the Witch, it goes without saying, if you haven't checked it out, you need to add this one to your list, and make sure you watch it on Halloween night. Right, so this is going to be the last movie that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and if you're aware of my channel, I think you knew from the get-go this was always going to be the last one that I was going to talk about, and it's the movie that started it all for me, and it is John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, I've said to so many people, this movie is part of my DNA when it comes to the month of October. Even at a young age, you know, you would go out and you would set up the bonfire, go trick-or-treating, and then the bonfire would get lit, you would stand around it for a while, and then you would come home and watch Halloween. And nothing has changed. I still watch this movie on Halloween night. I've been doing it for, wow, it must be 30-something years. It's quite incredible. It is a tradition now. I have added a few to it, the likes of Halloween 2, 3, Trick or Treat, of course, as well. And to me, this is the perfect horror movie. It really is. Look, I don't have to talk about it. You know yourselves what it's all about. It's a flawless slasher movie, expertly directed by John Carpenter, has a wonderful cast as well. The one thing I love about it is the fact that there's no blood, there's no gore. And that's what gives the movie its power over you. It didn't need that. It's brilliant the way it's done. It just seems like as the movie goes on, Michael is getting slowly closer and closer to Laurie Strode until it all kicks off. It's epic. It's absolutely epic. And I am counting down the days to Halloween night so I can finally watch this again. And I have to tell you, watching this on Halloween night, it elevates it. It really does. I don't know how. There's something about sitting in the house, sitting amongst all your decorations, hearing all the kids outside, having this movie going. It is absolutely perfect. But it goes without saying as well, folks, I would naturally include Halloween 2 in this list as well, because you can't watch this and not watch Halloween 2. I think both movies complement each other so well, and I think the conclusion for Halloween 2 is perfect, and they probably should have left it alone with that. But yes, Halloween, like I said, the perfect movie. Scream Factory, once again, delivering when it comes to its 4K transfer. Much like Halloween 3, I was a bit skeptical because the Blu-ray already looked amazing. It was a little bit dull. I think it was the 35th anniversary that came out where the image looked a little bit dull, so they can improve on that. But I didn't want the vibrancy that we seen on the Blu-ray that we got first release. I wanted something in the middle there. And that's exactly what Scream Factory has delivered with this 4K transfer. Now, there is a Blu-ray in this release that gives you a different colour timing, where the picture looks a bit more vibrant, but I don't think it's near as vibrant as that previous Blu-ray. So you're well covered. It's a stunning 4K transfer with an equally stunning Dolby Atmos. I think where the Dolby Atmos really gets to shine is where you hear the score from John Carpenter. It just adds a certain presence to that score. It really does. It sounds fantastic. And yes, that's probably why it's number one for me. It's a perfect 4K disc. It's the perfect horror movie. It's a Halloween treat. And that's the last movie that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So there you have it, folks. I had a wonderful time putting this video together. It really took me back. And maybe next year I'll do something a little different. I always try to do something a little different when it comes to my YouTube channel in October. And I thought this would be a fun one to do, and I really do hope you enjoy it. So there you have it. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could do, leave a comment down below. And please do share your thoughts on some of the titles that I mentioned in this video. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.